Only best buddies execute pedophiles together.
Seriously, how long do you think they'll wait before they put a replica of the castle from the Magic Kingdom right between the 2 and the 0?
An eternity, because that will never happen, you moron. Disney is absorbing Fox, not the other way around.
Jesus Christ, if you're gonna subvert something, movie, try working on these 36 seconds of f***ing logos.
Channel that artificially makes their videos 15 minutes longer than they should be upset about 30 seconds of logos.
Hang on, this is ultimately a pretty shitty apartment, right? But there's a 6-burner stove? That's like chef quality.
This is a big chill stove, something that is made for the home and is in no way professional chef quality.
Wolverine.
Sitting Deadpool for narration is like sitting chocolate chip cookies because they contain chocolate chips, but I actually prefer chocolate chipless chocolate chip cookies. And we've got a job to do here, so narration.
This is something I've never understood about this channel. You are technically narrating, so this is Jeremy Sins a film for doing something he always does cliche. Also, chipless chocolate chip cookies?
Chocolate? This is doo-doo, baby! I said, ah!
Guess what, Wolvie? I'm dying in this one too.
Yeah, but not really. Like, you're asking for an emotional payoff for multiple fake-out deaths in this movie. At least Logan had the decency to stay deceased.
You are actually technically incorrect. Deadpool does factually die in this film. Using a time machine to bring someone back to life isn't them never dying. Besides, do you really think James Howlett is dead?
What kind of plan was this? And how long was he waiting in there? Is this really more effective than, say, jumping out from behind a tree? Or was Ryan just longing to relive his time on the Buried set?
I'm going to invoke future Birdman here. It's a joke. I'm so angry. I'm so depressed. Dude, don't make fun of me. Well, you don't forget the fucking pretzels next time.
Let's see Captain America do that.
Dude, there are some great f***ing shoutouts to other superheroes in multiple universes. But doesn't this one feel forced? Like, other than spraying the funeral with bullets, couldn't Cap do all the shit Deadpool's doing here?
This is a reference to Civil War and the fact that this guy looks like Tony Stark. Also, you're suggesting that Cap could do what Deadpool is doing other than spraying the funeral with bullets. Except that's exactly the only thing Deadpool is doing.
Sure, we are far enough away to not see that it's Wade doing some Deadpool dancing. Why are these guys right up front still cheering like they think it's Demi Moore from 20 years ago?
Other Birdmen showed you a photo of Deadpool cross-dressing in the last video. I'm just saying, in a dark strip club with a few drinks in you.
Aside from the fact that these Jacuzzi Yakuza have caught a bad case of one-at-a-time-itis, why doesn't a single one of them have a gun on them? No one thought to bring a Jacuzzi Uzi?
Japan has pretty strict gun laws. So strict that even the Yakuza have difficulty obtaining them.
Dozens of severed arms, legs, and heads, but yes, please blur this man's giggle stick, because who will think of the children?
This isn't so much a sin of the film, but more of an indictment of America's puritanical weirdness about the human body.
You gotta grab those dreams by the tip and make it rain. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means as a cheap and easy beat in a comedy movie cliche.
This kind of stuff is why channels like mine exist. This is the most nitpicky of nitpicks you could ever nitpick. This shit is not funny, it's boring, and literally doesn't need to exist in a video called Everything Wrong with Deadpool 2. Because this isn't something wrong with Deadpool 2. This is you stretching a video far past its necessary length. Seriously, you're like a fucking YouTube bureaucrat. 20 cents.
I can't be sure till I get the suit off, but all signs point to yes.
Man, Deadpool movies have as many poop jokes as a goddamn Shrek movie, and I'm sinning that crap. Number one, it totally taints this franchise and is a stain on the
Skip.
Baby Factory's open for business.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's sweet. But like most superheroes that choose to procreate, you gotta wonder about some things. Like how much Deadpool's mutilated DNA would affect a fetus. Is he okay with potentially having offspring that is impervious to death? Does he even have sperm that could fertilize? Oh wait, this totally means Vanessa's gonna die, so we won't have to think any further about this.
Well, first of all, most normal people wouldn't give a shit about any of that nonsense in the first place, but that's not how genetics work in the X-Men universe. Deadpool's DNA isn't mutilated, it's mutated, and mutant DNA isn't passed down the way you're suggesting. Wade's child would have something slightly different than a healing factor. For example, Mystique is the mother of Nightcrawler, and other than blue skin, they share no abilities. Fun fact, Deadpool does have a child in the comics, and while she does have a healing factor, she must die first. Comics are weird.
You are not your father.
I know we're trying to squeeze some substance into this sequel, but is this really what we're here for? If Deadpool knows he's in a movie, he should know that she's about to bite it, right?
None of what you just said makes any coherent sense. What does the fact that Deadpool is aware he's in a movie have to do with the movie trying to squeeze substance into the sequel? You just said some words and gave the movie a sin.
What about Bruce?
Wait, did Deadpool somehow develop Spidey sense? Or did Morgan Freeman train him to do this by getting his ass kicked by Angelina Jolie?
Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
Do we have to do these credits with all the in-jokes again? Isn't the Bond parody and the genuinely good Celine Dion song enough? That's like saying narration or roll credits or f***ing logos, man, in every video. Wait.
I was extremely tempted to remove a sin here, but then I remembered that you're trying to do my job for me. Therefore, Jeremy would be excellent at the Birdman.
You smell like sauerkraut left in the warm rain.
This goes on for some time, and gets progressively less funny.
Kinda like CinemaSins.
I thought you saw me with your ears.
Man, it's hard to overstate how shitty these movies would be if anyone other than Ryan Reynolds was playing this character. I'm conflicted on whether this qualifies as a sin. F it.
Jeremy sins something that he likes cliche.
Also, until he gets to the gasoline trick in the apartment, how the would Wade expect any of this crap to kill him? He's clearly survived much worse, so this is really just for the audience.
A comedic movie doing funny things just for the audience. Oh, I guess we better sin that.
Hey, it looks like Wade made it to the Upside Down.
A pop culture reference that isn't.
Ness, there's something here. I can't get to you.
Are we really supposed to buy into this emotion? You can't spend 3 minutes asking me to take you seriously, and the rest of the time making dick and fart jokes while breaking every fourth wall in sight, he says, self-referentially.
This is literally every comedic film ever. There's always going to be a dramatic bent to them. I mean, you realize that you're asking for a film with nothing else but dick and fart jokes, except you already waste a large amount of your audience's time sinning said dick and fart jokes.
Blessed are the wicked who are healed by my hand.
I feel like the writers used all their supply of villain nuance on Cable and said, F it to the rest of the bad guys.
Rest of the bad guys insinuates that Cable is also a bad guy, and he's not, so.
So is there the same fight between humans and mutants in this universe as there is in the X-Men universe? Seems like Deadpool and the other mutants are able to operate with impunity, with no resistance from humans. But here, they drop us into a mutant conversion facility with barely a mention of the underlying politics.
How can you watch 2 Deadpool movies, both of them featuring X-Men, both of them constantly mentioning Wolverine, and not put it together that these movies are a part of the X-Men universe?
I said no touching.
How long has Wade been here? He's just now getting introduced to the rules and meeting NTW and Yukio for the first time, but he's super well healed after having been blown all the way up. Doesn't that take a long time to reverse?
Again, these words have nothing to do with each other. He obviously healed off screen and then headed for Xavier's school.
And how does he even heal? We've never seen his parts reattach before. They just grow back. So did this body eventually sprout from his head? I'm just saying the whole aftermath of the catastrophic suicide attempt is way yada yada here.
This is not information required to enjoy nor understand this movie. It's a comedic trope to show someone get destroyed, but then they're fine in the next scene. Think Wile E. Coyote. But here we go again with why the books fucking matter. Yes, Deadpool can regrow his entire body from just his head. He can also heal from his severed limbs reattaching themselves. All of this information can be found in the comics or Google. And to you pesky commenters that are going to give me the whole, I agree with what you're saying in these videos, but the books don't matter. If I have to research to understand, let's stop that shit right there. The point is never that you have to read a book to understand a movie. The point is, if you're going to criticize something, then you need to know what you're talking about, and that requires the knowledge of the source material.
Hilarious bit. Truly a laugh out loud moment. But why? What are the X-Men doing in there? Why couldn't Wade hear or see them before now? Why wouldn't they want to talk to Wade anyway?
It's a joke, you joke. Dude, stop mocking me before I tell you when you die. All right, I'm sorry.
One of the assholes who killed Vanessa got away.
He means himself, so this is really just a slight modification of the pronoun game. And you know how we feel about that shit around here.
I'm sorry, what? He said Vanessa's murderer got away. This isn't him referring to himself, like, at all. You're just making shit up.
The f*** is Colossus doing calisthenics for? Does his metallic shape really require cardio?
You are aware that cardio is short for cardiovascular, as in dealing with the circulatory system. That has nothing to do with his metallic outward appearance.
This kid needs to be in the icebox, not here.
Russell belongs in our care.
Man, this sure is a casual conversation to be having while only several feet away from an out-of-control, fire-throwing mutant.
Who is currently not out of control nor throwing fire.
Despite the other two going straight backwards as a result of Russell's fireball, Deadpool somehow curves up into this window, just so we can get a super force Wolverine Ryan Reynolds joke.
I mean, he kind of hit him with an uppercut, and let's try not to call out forced jokes there, Jer. Because, yeah.
Get a power restraint on him, now!
So the human police have collar restraints for the mutants? Like, where'd they get that technology?
From Days of Future Past.
And if it's available, why the hell is the headmaster using that f***ed up throat device that clearly doesn't work?
Because he's the headmaster of an orphanage and not the police.
My whole life, I've been waiting for someone to come and save me. Nobody's gonna sacrifice anything for me.
Sacra-foreshadowing.
Okay, let's see now. Shadowing. No results for sacrifice. Hey, Jeremy made that up.
Nothing worse than a pray the gay away type guy.
In case you missed the allegory about the mutant rehabilitation, Wade's here to properly smash you over the head with it.
Wait a minute. Earlier you said,
But here, they drop us into a mutant conversion facility with barely a mention of the underlying politics.
but now you're complaining about the movie beating you over the head with that allegory? As there are multiple party fouls here, I'm just going to start listing and sinning. Jeremy feigns ignorance cliché. Jeremy asks for something only to later sin when he receives it cliché. Jeremy pads the sin count ex machina. Jeremy would be excellent at being a dumbass. Jeremy doesn't edit his sins after receiving new information. This scene also doesn't contain a lap dance, but Jeremy doesn't sin it. I don't give a shit about what my audience wants, so instead of Infinity War, I'll probably make a video about Scream or some shit, head ass.
Sure, it makes a nice symbolic touchstone for us, but how exactly did Deadpool manage to bring this sentimental token in with him?
The same way Rocket managed to smuggle the eyeball that he gave to Thor. Oh, that's from that movie that apparently doesn't exist.
Damn, once you get inside this prison, apparently you can go anywhere.
I mean, if you're blowing holes through the walls, sure.
I'm pretty sure the last few minutes of this action sequence qualifies it as arm mutilation porn, and there's a good chance that it—
Skip!
Oh no, Wade has been injured. I totally care about this because he's never gonna recover.
Well, this is a dumb sin because up to this point, the movie and the marketing made it pretty clear that Deadpool was going to die in this film. So you're sinning the film with knowledge gained after having watched the whole film, which brings up 2 points. 1, you have feigned ignorance in this video multiple times, so that's worth at least 5 sins. And 2, this should shut up your stupid ass fanboys that try to claim you sin these movies from the perspective of someone that is watching them for the first time, because that's clearly bullshit.
Wait, how did Wade almost die again? He just hit his head on a rock and fell into a lake, which is really no worse than all the shit that Cable did to him back at the prison. Damn it, movie, what are the rules?
You've heard of Jeremy asking for explanations and then sinning the movie later when he receives it. But now, coming fall 2018, Jeremy asks for information that he just received in the same sin. Future Birdman, what are you doing? I was, because, well, you were doing the whole video by yourself. I can't leave the mic for 2 seconds. Just stand over there. People didn't like your voice, okay? Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care anyway. Trying to do something nice for them, change it up, and then they shit on me. That's cool. I mean, I'm not hurt or anything. Hey, it's okay. We'll just wait a few more episodes.
I'm lucky.
That's not a superpower.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Wade's dismissal of this becomes a running joke, but is it that crazy of a notion, especially compared to all the other shit they're seeing today?
Yes, it is. Imagine after an invisible person, a person with acidic vomit, and an electromagnetic field manipulator, someone comes up to you and tells you that their superpower is that they're lucky. I'd have a hard time believing that shit too.
Everything usually just kind of works out for me.
Like 2008 Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know who that is.
God damn it, this is getting f***ing grating.
But now you're cheating though. You were sinning the fact that characters kept saying, I don't know what that means. And now you've moved the goalpost to, I don't know who that is.
Bring on the carnage, baby!
Why is the mutant that spits acid wearing a guard that would keep him from doing so? I mean, I know Cyclops has his special glasses, but that's because his gazer beams are always on and need to be contained. But considering this guy hasn't even spit acid once, I'm not sure what this is supposed to do for anyone.
Zeitgeist wears this mask, even in the comics, so that he doesn't accidentally vomit on anyone. I mean, he's courteous as fuck.
Also, is this really the most efficient drop-in for Cable to make? Like, wouldn't it be easier to pick a shorter building? Or just be on the ground, waiting for the convoy? He ends up running after them on the street anyway.
Future Birdman told you last video that Jeremy seeks to make movies worse, and voila, here he is doing it again.
I'll admit it's mildly frustrating that Deadpool and Domino both have actual superpowers that completely short-circuit any attempt at they survive this. But since Cable and Russell were on there too, they survive this?
Okay, all jokes aside for a second. When Jeremy says,
I'll admit it's mildly frustrating that Deadpool and Domino both have actual superpowers that completely short-circuit any attempt at they survive this.
This to me sounds like he's admitting that when a movie makes sense, it's frustrating for him. This calls into question the veracity of the claim that CinemaSins is a joke channel. I mean, I already knew this, but those that are on the fence should be alarmed at this statement because they're telling you in no uncertain terms that because he can't pull one of his running gags, it mildly frustrates him. That doesn't sound like a person that enjoys movies.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
I never thought I'd prefer anything from X-Men The Last Stand, but at least their version of Juggernaut was much more believable than this. Like, why is this character even here?
What the f*** does believability have to do with anything? You're watching a comic book movie. Not to mention, this version of Juggernaut is far more comic book accurate than that bullshit from The Last Stand. The only thing missing is them stating that he's Xavier's brother. This is what I'm talking about when I say you want to make movies worse.
Also, why is he so pissed at Deadpool anyway? There are plenty of other people around here to maim if he's just in the mood. I suppose there's some explanation in some rando comic from 1996, but they could also say something about it in the movie, you know?
I'd love to see your version of a comic book movie. It would probably be 15 hours long for all the times they would have to explain something.
Dobbs, get me out of here, please. Use my arms as backpack straps.
Help me understand how Deadpool experiences pain. We know he feels what happens to him, but then does it immediately go away? I mean, he's sitting propped up here, completely split in two. Wouldn't that still at least sting a little bit?
I mean, yeah, but with the amount of times his body has been completely wrecked, I'm quite certain at this point he's desensitized to pain.
You picked the wrong hole to future boy.
Is that really necessary?
The discussion in the writer's room somehow made it into the final script.
For as much as you bitch about this movie reusing jokes, you sure do the same stale jokes in 80% of your videos.
It's at this point in the movie that the score consists of a chorus repeating "holy balls," which is funny, but really only in the same way as Billy lighting his farts on fire in middle school.
Disagreed. That is extremely clever for a film that breaks the fourth wall so much.
Okay, so we covered Blind Al being blind, Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, Deadpool being maimed in various ways, poop jokes, and Dopinder being nerdy comic relief. Did we miss anything else from the first movie? Oh, I almost forgot to impale DP in the head during the last act. Whew, that would have been embarrassing.
Shh. Nobody wants to hear all that nonsense you're talking about, Jeremy. You're missing one of the most hilarious scenes in this movie.
Big CGI fight coming up.
Sure, but just because you call attention to it doesn't excuse that.
Jeremy sins a self-referential film for being self-referential.
You call me mother...
That's racist.
Ooh, swing and a miss. The word we were looking for is nationalist, but thank you for playing.
That's how we do it in Mother Russia.
Really? You take down supervillains by shoving a live wire up their ass and use a force blast to propel them into water? Man, I knew Putin was bad, but this is a whole new level.
Oh, a Putin joke. That's really clever and not easy at all.
I appreciate the effort to make this ending emotional, but given that this will all be undone in this overtly insubordinate movie, I can't get on board. It's like trying to trick yourself into having an actual orgasm when you're f***ing your cousin.
All the previous college girlfriend jokes, complaining about not getting regular sex in the other Deadpool video, and now this? It's like Jeremy has been trying to communicate something this whole time, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Jeremy's fucked his cousin before. FB, I was trying to be more subtle than that.
So dark! Do you sure you're not from the DC universe?